In this video, we're going to have a look at how to create a newsletter sign-up form within GetResponse. This can then be added to your website to attract newsletter sign-ups and so build your email list far quicker. There are several options for creating a form within GetResponse, but to find them you need to log into your GetResponse account, come to Forms and then Create Form, and that brings you into the page that we're on here. The first option we've got, I'll go through a couple of these. The first one is the List Builder Wizard, which is obviously highlighted at the moment here, and you just click on it if it isn't highlighted. What you then get down the page are lots of different options of boxes that you can have for sign up on your website. What I would do first is decide what size of box you want to have on your website, and this will of course depend on wherever you're going to put it on your website, and you've got a number of choices of different sizes. So here, for example, if it's something you're having in your side column, you could click on there and it's a narrower one to go there. If depending on where you want it, you might want a wider version, for example, and all formats are in there. So all you do is decide on the size that you want and then decide on the particular look that you want. I very often will go for the more basic ones. You can still add colour, you can change all the words and things, we'll look at that at the second. But when you've chosen the one you want, you can just then click on it to use template. We'll use this one here for our example. It will then load the template and come into here. So when we get to this part, we've got several options. Firstly, if you wanted to add any other fields into this form, at the moment you're asking people for their email address and their first name. There are a lot of options here on the right hand side, and you basically just grab one of these and drop it onto the form and that would add it in there. However, if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll see that I recommend you keep the amount of information you ask for to the very minimum, and that is because the more you ask for, the less likely people are to complete your form, and because you want them on your list, the more people you can tempt to join, the better it is for you. So I would suggest you just keep it to email and first name, just as we've got here. If you want to change anything on the form, all you do is click on it. So here, for example, if you wanted this to be sign up for our free newsletter, we could do that there. We could change it around a bit to work like that. If you wanted to add some information in here as to what they get when they join your newsletter, which, as you know, I always recommend, because we need to give people a reason to join the newsletter. So again, those details could be added in here if you wanted to. You can change a lot of things with this. You could obviously, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. You could change colours and things. If I've highlighted that word there, so you could change the colour, you could change the font, you could change the styling of it, the size, the line height, etc. So there's all those sort of things you can change. You can change any of this wording here. So if you didn't want it to say email address for whatever reason, or didn't want it to say first name, you could change that wording. You could also change that to say join instead of sign up if you wanted to. You could change the colour of the button here on the right hand side. So there's lots of things that you can change there. That's for the form itself as it will appear on your site. The other thing to look at is at the top here it says thank you page. If you click on that, this is what people will see when they've actually joined your list. And this is just something that says well done. So you might want to change that to just say thanks for subscribing, or a confirmation email is on its way to you, or something like that. So that's something else that you can change. Let's just come back to the form there. So when you've got your form looking as you want it and you've got your thank you page as you want it, you then need to just decide on a few other options. And to do that, we click on this cog here, and that will open up a pop-up box. So you can do several things here. The first thing to do is give the web form a name. So you might want to say XYZ website and right hand sign up box, for example, just so that you can identify it. You then want to click here and choose the particular campaign. You'll have obviously already set up a campaign in GetResponse for your email list, so you'd want to choose the right one here if you've got more than one. There are then a number of other options that you can decide on. First one is confirmed opt-in. So when somebody subscribes to your list, do you want them to receive a confirmation email where they have to confirm that they want to opt into your list or not? If you already have some autoresponder messages set up, you can actually set this so that they will automatically be sent the first message as soon as they subscribe. I'll always do this. I'll always have like a welcome message set up there in the autoresponders. You can then choose the thank you page. I normally go for stay on page, and that will just pop up a message saying thank you for subscribing. But if you want to, once they've subscribed, send them to a completely different page, you could click custom and it will let you put a completely different page on your website there. Also, if they've already subscribed to the list, I normally get them to stay on the page and it just comes up with a message saying you've already subscribed. Recapture, I don't bother with that generally, and I don't bother with these either. So if you're happy with that, all you would do is click on the save button there. And then finally, all we need to do is click on the save and publish button. That will then bring you through to this page here. And if you're installing this web form onto your website, you'll be given a bit of code here. So all you do is click copy for that code, and you'll then need to paste that code into the correct place in the HTML code for your website. Now that's not something I can go into in this video because of course I use WordPress for my websites, but there are so many different formats of website that it would be impossible to cover them all. But effectively you will just paste that into the correct place in the coding for your website, and then the form will appear on your site. Let's just have a look now very quickly at the other options we had. So I'm coming back to the create form option. And if you clicked on here, for example, this is list builder apps, and this gives a number of different apps that you could have. So for example, an exit pop-up. So that is a form that pops up when people are trying to leave your website. A sign up box will actually create a box in the middle of your website that will appear after so many seconds. So there's a number of different options here. To choose one, you just click the use app now button. A pop-up appears here, shows you what those are like. You can then choose all your different options, save and publish, and again it gives you a bit of code that you will put onto your website. And so there are a number of those there. If you needed a form in plain HTML for your particular website type, you could click on here, and again it would let you go through the process and come up with just a form in plain HTML to paste into your site. There are also some integrations. I don't normally use these, but there are integrations to put on a web app in Facebook, WordPress site, a PrestaShop site, and various other options there. So that quick video just shows you how to go to forms, create form, and then use the various options here within GetResponse to create a form to put on your website. Once you've created forms, you can of course go and amend those, and all you do is go into forms and manage forms, and it will just give you the list of forms that you've created there, and you can make amendments to any of those that you've done. So I hope that helps in showing you how to use GetResponse to create sign-up forms to put onto your website.